We now extend the conversation, consuming much of public conversation. Joining me now is Adams Mayambala, who speaks to the National Unity Platform President, Robert Kyagulanyi, to expand more on the matters affecting the state. Adams, a very good evening to you.
Good evening, Bernadette, and to the viewers, PM viewers. Thank you so much. I'm joined by the NUP President, Robert Kyagulanyi Sentamu, commonly known as Bobby Wine, and we are here to discuss a number of issues. A pleasure to have you here, Mr. President.
Pleasure to be with you, my brother.
How are you?
I'm alive. Thank
You're alive?
You. Yeah.
Alive but okay, not fine?
Well, for as long as I'm alive, everything else is secondary. Yeah.
And I welcome you to CTV.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm glad to be here. Good evening, viewers.
First and foremost, let's talk about what is happening in the country. Yesterday, there was a scene at Chigo prison. One of your MPs of NUP was recaptured after he was given bail to walk home. And another one, Segirinya, is still rotting in prison. What's your take on that?
Well, Ugandans should be reminded that this has been happening for the longest time. This has been happening, the illegality has been happening since these rebels took over our country in 1986. This is not new. It happened as far as 16 years back ago when the Black Mambas raided court and got the Dr. Besigye supporters, got them into unknown places. It is happening again now, you know, without quoting any law, with utter shame, with impunity. They are doing what they've been doing all along. It's only that the cameras see it more now than before, but it has been happening. Yeah.
Robert, Segirinya is also still in prison.
Yes.
And these things have been happening, and the president came out and spoke about it. The president spoke about violation of human rights and all that. What are your thoughts on that when such things are still happening?
It speaks of the double standards of the Museveni regime. It speaks of the hypocrisy of Museveni, the person. This is supposed to show us Museveni, the man. He will say one thing and do the opposite, with the entire world seeing. We saw him pretending on TV to be respecting human rights, but you all saw him when he came out and said bail is not a constitutional right. What a shame. This is a person that purports to be the president of the nation, but does not even respect the constitution. Article 28(3) provides to the, that a person would be presumed innocent until they plead guilty or until they're found guilty. And also Article 23(6) also guarantees bail as a constitutional right. General Museveni is saying bail is not a constitutional right. I am here because I'm out on bail on treason. So it further shows us that Museveni believes that he is the law himself. Yeah.
Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi, so what are you going to do as the NUP president, or what are you doing to make sure that all this is normal?
The question is not what are we going to do as NUP. This country does not only belong to NUP. This country does not only belong to Kyagulanyi. This country belongs to you, belongs to every Ugandan. Question should be, what are we going to do as Ugandans to see that we enjoy our rights, to see that we live within the law, to see that the Constitution, which has a preamble that mentions all the mess that our country has been through and recognizes it and pledges to ensure that nothing of the sort happens in the future. Unfortunately, this is exactly what's happening. So what are we going to do as a nation, as a people, as a population, not just NUP? This is a duty for all of us. I will tell you that this illegality does not only affect NUP, it affects all citizens, and it affects even all those that are in government as well. So this mess is a concern for all citizens of Uganda.
So do you have to pursue the law? What exactly are you talking about? Like, we Ugandans, what are you talking about?
We Ugandans must rise to the occasion and put an end to the dictatorial tendencies of General Museveni. We Ugandans must rise up and free ourselves and return the rule of law and return to constitutional order, because we are certainly not, you know, being ruled under the law. This is ruled by law. So we have to rise to the occasion and put an end to the dictatorship. The problem of Uganda is General Museveni, because he does not respect the law. He does not respect anybody's rights. What he thinks or what he dreams at night is what he wants to do during the day. And unfortunately, he gets away with it because just a few of us raise our voices. It is a question of everybody rising to the occasion to put an end to this.
Honorable Kyagulanyi, we've been through election, and you yourself participated in the elections, and you lost. Do you consider the defeat that you lost?
I did not lose. You saw as much as I saw it. I mean, you are in the media. You know you were not allowed to even perform your duty as a journalist. You know that your TV and radio stations were cut off. You know that power was cut off. You know that the internet blacked out. You know that the military took over the election. So you cannot say I lost. You know, the people of Uganda went out to the polls and they cast their polls. But General Museveni, you know, using impunity like he has been doing so, you know, declared himself winner. And now, once again, I tell you that we as Ugandans are on our own, and it's going to take us, all of us, to put an end to this.
So if not the elections, then what avenue do we have? What avenue does Uganda have to change the regime?
Yeah, the first avenue, of course, was the election, because that's the provided legal avenue of changing power. But again, the Constitution also provides that when the Constitution is being overthrown or abrogated or disrespected or undermined, it is the duty of every Ugandan. Ugandans must rise to make sure that they restore constitutional order. There's no constitutional order because the Constitution provides for the right to bail. We see not ordinary citizens, but members of parliament being abducted on the doors of the prisons, and they're taken to unknown places. So it is upon us to use all available means of restoring constitutional order.
When you speak about all available means, what does the Ugandan get out of it?
Whatever the Ugandan wants to get out of it. Even you, whatever you want to get out of it, at least I've told you that we must use all available means. I must assert that we as NUP believe in non-violence. We believe in constitutional and legal means. So I'm telling you that we must use all legal means, especially those that are non-violent. We as NUP, I'm not limiting anybody else, because there comes a time when we must free and use any means necessary.
Is there a mean that is non-violent and not elections?
Oh yeah. Do you think the Sudanese were violent? They were non-violent. They removed a dictator called Omar el-Bashir, one of Museveni's best friends. The Egyptians, they were non-violent. They removed a dictator called Hosni Mubarak. The Tunisians were non-violent. The people from Burkina Faso were non-violent. So non-violence works, and it kicks away dictators. Yeah.
Mr. President, as your supporters call you, speaking about the
as
status
Ugandans
quo,
call me.
as Ugandans,
yeah.
Okay, speaking about the status quo of the country, the recent massacres in Masaka, the opposition has been implicated into this. What's your take on that? Is it the president came out and said it's political, it's from the opposition, and you seem to be the head of the opposition because you're the man there. So, what's your take on this?
Why am I not arrested then?
Two of your MPs have been arrested.
I think this is done by the regime. You had the general, what's his name? Kaindo Tafire. He said it some time ago in Bushenyi when they were burying Adonia Tiberondwa. He said it was their trick. It was their tactic as the NRA rebels. They would put on UPC uniform, go kill people, and then make sure that the people blame the UPC government, thereby hating it and detesting it.
So this time around,
they have not been held accountable for those mass murders, but they were killing people. And the same Museveni recently said they are going to return to the NRA tactics. These tactics, we know them as NRA tactics. And I want you to remember that since time immemorial, every time Museveni is defeated in an election, but in a particular area, that area faces violence. We saw it in Gulu, in Acholi land, we saw it in Kasese, and now we're seeing it in Uganda, particularly in Masaka. So to see that the same Otafire came out again to claim that you know, when NRM was winning in Masaka, people were not dying. But now that NRM lost, people are dying, as if to justify the killing, as if to say they are punishing the people of Uganda and the people of Masaka in particular for not voting for NRM. You know, that speaks volumes. So
what do we have to do about it? Because it's happening. People, innocent people are dying in Masaka.
Now, you know that the people that we pay to protect us are actually criminals. They are using people's and taxes to oppress them. You've seen drones flying everywhere. You know, if I step foot in Masaka, you'll see an entire battalion deployed in Masaka. How do you then tell me that a government that has capability of hunting down political opponents from the deepest corners of the country and abducting them has no ability to hunt down machete-wielding thugs if they are not the ones, you know, sending them to kill our people? Remember that some years ago, Kaihura was the Inspector General of Police, paraded the same people for the same crimes. And then the boys who were paraded actually said that it's the police that sends them to carry out those atrocities. How then do you tell me it is not the Museveni regime that is doing that? This is an open secret.
Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi, as we are winding up,
yes.
Do you see yourself on a ballot paper the next election year?
That is very irrelevant. That is as if you are telling us to forget about now. You're telling us to think about 4 years, 5 years from now. We have now to sort out. I won the election. I'm supposed to be the legitimate president. Yeah? But now, it's as if you're trying to tell us to sweep that under the carpet. And it's too big to be swept under the carpet. So we have now to sort out. You know, we have an illegitimate government that is ruling over people, robbing the nation, you know, looting everything that they can land their hands on, and also abusing the rights of the people while their leader purports to be defending rights. So we have a now to sort out before we go to tomorrow.
Honorable Kyagulanyi, lastly, have you met the President Museveni? Have you ever met him?
Why would
like
I
in
meet?
Person?
Why would I meet General Museveni?
He's the president of Uganda.
No, he's not the president of Uganda. I am. Ask him, has he met me?
Okay, if probably if he could tell you, come and work in my government, because you have that that sense of the youth, you know the problems of the youth. Could you help out to help Ugandans?
Let me tell you something. The issue at hand right now is not an issue between me and General Museveni. No, it's an issue of Ugandans. What Ugandans say according to the law is what is supposed to reign supreme. Then why do we reduce an issue of 45 million Ugandans to only 2 people? And again, I'll tell you that, not that I despise dialogue, but dialogue with Museveni has been dialogue of co-optation. You know, what do you want? How much do you want? And that's not what I believe in. I believe in, you know, doing what's right and being accountable to people. Sure.
Mr. President, lastly, what the words to your supporters? What are you planning in the near future?
I want to tell Ugandans that everything that's going to change your life is supposed to have your involvement there. Of course, I'm thankful to the brothers and sisters that have risen to the occasion and spoke out, the artists, the civil society, the ordinary Ugandans, and the leaders, the politicians that have stood with the people. I salute you so much. Those here in Uganda and those in the diaspora. I want you to know, fellow Ugandans, that we are on our own. You cannot leave this matter to Parliament. You cannot leave it to the courts of law. You cannot even leave it just to the politicians. It's everybody, whether you are doctor or lawyer, student, teacher, educated, uneducated. You have to raise the conscience in your own, you know, surroundings, in your community. Let each one teach one. Let each one of us make sure that we add a brick. We add, you know, a brick of building our liberty, our democracy. It's not going to be a Kyagulanyi thing alone. This is not about me alone. I'm just one Ugandan that's playing my role. You can play your role too. We all can play our roles.
Thank you so much, Mr. Robert Kyagulanyi.
Thank you very much.
The NUP president. A lot of titles there. And before I forget, you say happy belated birthday to Mama Robert.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Back to you, Bernadette Opio. That was the NUP president. I can't say any word further than that. You've heard everything from the horse's mouth.
Thank you so much, Adams, for that interview. Well, you have heard it there, ever so bold and ever so assertive. That was Adams Mayambala speaking to the National Unity Platform President, Robert Kyagulanyi.